Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Legend of Runeterra. We are continuing the series of ranking every champion based on region. This time we are playing with Ionia, the most annoying and the most anti-fun deck region possible. So we are starting with Z. With Z, when he's a 3 mana cost unit with quick attack, which means he attack before the blocker. When he attack, he summon an attacking Living Shadow with his own stat. Living Shadow is an ephemeral unit with 3 attack and 2 HP that can change based on Z's stat. Once himself or allied Living Shadow strike the enemy nexus twice and Z is on the field, he can evolve. Now he have 4 damage, 3 HP, and the Living Shadow has his positive keywords, not just his stat. So for me, as far as carrying, they depend on support. I am going to change the word support to depend on deck. You need a deck based on Z for him to work, but he is really powerful in the right deck. Because you are basically getting an Ornn just for 3 mana instead of 7 mana. Which is busted, to be honest. For support, he is okay. You get 2 attacking units every attacking round. That's always welcome, but it's not really a game changer. Okay, let's go with Karma. Karma is the first late game champion in this region. She is a 5 mana cost unit. At the end of each round, she will create in hand a random spell from your region. Once you are enlightened, mean you have 10 maximum mana, not counting the spell mana, she will evolve, and now not only will she create a random spell from your region, when you play a spell, it will copy it at the same target, so you can have double the effect of your spells. And as a carry, she is okay. She is never the focus of the deck. Because most spells that are from Ionia do not have attacking power. They are, as I said, annoying but not damaging. So she can stall the enemy, but she cannot win on herself. As a support, she depends on the deck, on her carry. So you need to reach the late game, or to have mana, to have cards that can give extra mana each round for her to be good. Else, it's really okay or depend on carry on deck. She's not that perfect. For Yasuo, sorry, cards. So for Yasuo, he is a 4 mana cost unit with quick attack, which means he attack before the blocker. When you stun or recall an enemy, Yasuo will deal 2 to it. Once you stun or recall 5 units, Yasuo will evolve, and now instead of dealing 2 damage, he will strike the enemy, which is quite powerful, but not that great. If you are playing against weak enemies or spammable enemies, he is good. If against weak enemies or spammable, he is good, but against powerful enemy, he is okay. But the issue with him is that he cannot stun the enemy on his own, so he needs a deck specifically for him. As a support, he also depends on the deck. the difference between him and Karma is that he needs a deck of stun. If you don't have stun, he is worthless. If you have stuns like Maokai or stuff like that, he is good. So even if he's not your carry, as long as you have enough stuns, he can be good enough. For Ari is a 2 mana cost unit with quick attack, so she attack before the blocker. The first time she attack, she swap herself with the ally to her right, then recall it. So once you recall the ally, and you can attack with Ari 2 times. Once you recall 6 units, she will evolve. Now she have elusive. It can only be blocked by an elusive unit. When she attacks, she will attack strike, swap me with the ally to my right, then recall it. As you can see, the change is each time instead of the first time. So you can recall every unit on your field and still and attack 6 times that round. One thing to keep in mind is if you want Ari to survive, you need her to be you need the last enemy to be also the last ally on her right to be an elusive unit, so she doesn't take damage. If the last unit is a normal unit, even if she is elusive, an enemy will attack her then. So she is quite cheap, but not really powerful. At 3 damage when evolved is really bad. But it can work. So I will put her as okay. She's never your main focus on the deck, to be honest. As a support, it depends on deck. If you put her with units that like to be recalled, like Kennen or Kennen or I don't know. Actually, only Kennen come to mind, to be honest. So if you have that kind of support, she's really good. Else, it's not bad. For Shen is a 4 mana cost unit with barrier, which will negate the next damage the unit will take in this round. It will only last 1 round. Supported ally, the units that are on his right when he attack, will get barrier for this round. If you summon him and you create 5 barrier, he will evolve, and now all allies that have barrier will get +3 damage. The major issue with him is that his HP is quite low, so you need to defend against it. And for me, as a carry, he is okay. Even if you build a full deck around him, he is not that great. But as a support, he will depend. He is also okay. Even if you make a deck and you consider him not as a carry but as a support, he is not something that you absolutely have to have. There are a few good decks for him, but it's mostly his followers that are the carry, not himself, which is kind of sad. Okay, next we have Irelia. Irelia is a 3 mana cost unit, which is quite cheap. She has quick attack, which means she strikes before the blocker. And she has attune, which means when summoned, it will refill 1 spell mana. Then when summoned or round start, if you have the attack token, create a Flawless Duet in hand. Flawless Duet will allow her to summon 2 Blade Dance that will attack for this round, then disappear. They have 1 damage, 1 HP, and 1 mana cost. So there are some cards that can buff this that are worth to have if you are playing Irelia. Once you attack with 14 allies in total, now when ally attack, she create a blade surge in hand, which allow Irelia to swap Irelia with an ally. So if an enemy is attacking Irelia or defending against Irelia or using spell on her, this will switch the focus of the enemy to another unit. So with adding the few cards lately, she depends on the deck. So if you have a good deck, you can make Irelia busted, but she really needs a deck with her. If sorry, this is support, it will not change much, but so depend on the support, she can be really great. And as a support, same thing. There are quite a few decks that can benefit from Irelia. You have Scout, you have Lurk, you have Demacians, there are way too many decks that can be good combination with her. Next we have Lee Sin. So with Lee Sin, when you play a spell, give me Challenger this round. Challenger allow you to choose which enemy unit will block you. If you play another, give me Barrier this round, which negates the next damage unit the unit will take and lasts only one round. If you play 10 different spells, Lee Sin will evolve, and now once you play 2 spells, he can Dragon Rage the enemy that he challenged. So not when you play 2 spells, as long as you use challenge, you have Dragon Rage, which allow an ally to kick an enemy into the enemy nexus, striking both, which means get the effect when a unit attempts to deal damage using its power. So the damage will depend on the power of your unit. If the enemy nexus survive, you can recall the unit that you attack. So once you get Lee Sin to evolve, he is really scary. That is why, for me, Lee Sin is a perfect carry. Because there is no deck where you don't have a lot of spells. At least half of your deck will be spells, unless you intentionally did it otherwise. And as long as you can play 10 spells, then you are basically can choose which unit you want to kill or recall. There is no counterplay from that point of view. And there is stuns and frostbite, but it's really dangerous against the enemy, because even if you frostbite Lee Sin, he will still recall the enemy for free. As a support, he is perfect support for the same reason. Actually, I am going to put both support and carry on the same one, since they overlap. Actually, I am improving. Don't worry. Let's go to Lulu. I am going to skip set for now because I want to talk about Lulu. Lulu is she is a Yordle that I am talking about. Yordles not now. So let's go back to Set. With Set, he is a 5 mana cost with a Challenger. Can choose which enemy will block this unit. The first time he will draw below 1, so the first time he will die 1 health while attacking. He gets Barrier instead, so it will negate the next damage, but only last 1 round. As long as in this game you spend 14 mana, Set will evolve, and now he will not take any damage when attacking. Each round, create a showstopper in hand once you play 12 mana that round. So you need to play 12 mana for him to create the showstopper, which will obliterate an enemy, so he cannot it will not cause last breath effect and cannot be revived. It will deal 1 to all other enemies and the enemy nexus. So if the enemy has a hyper carry, this is a hard counter. So set depend on his deck. You need a deck that has coins in it. If you have coins, you can spam his mana and spam using spells and units and stuff like that to get the showstopper. If you don't have coins, you really need to wait way too much to reach 12. You need to wait for the 9th round for him to be effective, which is not worth it. Okay. Last one is is Mastery. Mastery is a 3 mana cost unit with quick attack, which means he attack before the blocker. So if he kills the blocker, he will not take damage. At the start of the round, reduce the cost of a spell in your hand by 1. And flow, which mean in the previous round you played 2 spell mana or more, or skills that last round. If you have flow, it will grant all allies mastery everywhere, in hand, in deck or on the field, +2 damage. As long as allies mastery has dealt 12 plus damage, he will evolve. Now every time he attack, he will immediately strike the weakest enemy and still get +2 damage for every flow that you can have. So Mastery is a very high power hyper carry for late game, same as Spike, basically same effect, but he need to be played with spells. They don't need to be high mana cost spells, but you need to spam spells for him to be worth it. So Ionia doesn't have any very weak units, at least until we consider the Yordles, but that is a video for another time. Please if you like the video, please share, subscribe, hit the notification button and put in the comment your take on Ionian's champion. See you next time. Bye.